One man can stop the motor of the world.
What was it about this job that makes it more important than your life?
Snowden has been charged with espionage.
You have no idea what it's like to be accountable for other people's lives.
Hey duos, this is our movie review for the movie Snowden, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and directed by Oliver Stone. The NSA's illegal surveillance techniques are leaked to the public by one of the agency's employees, Edward Snowden, in the form of thousands of classified documents distributed to the press.
I'll tell you what, JD, going into this movie, I was really excited. I was expecting so many great things, almost like a Jason Bourne mixed with some mystery-solving movie where we were tricked into thinking certain things will happen. I'll tell you what, it really hit me because I was so captivated throughout the entirety of the movie.
Yes, even though the movie had a runtime of 2 hours and 14 minutes, there wasn't a part of it where I was bored out of my mind and wanted it to end. It always kept you there, it always kept you going, and it always had something to think about or something to watch and really keep you into the movie.
I'll tell you what, though, throughout the entirety of that movie, Shailene Woodley did a great job in her scenes, because I felt like those scenes would have been the slow parts of the movie for most people, but for me, I was really captivated by her performance because she was very, very likable.
I was actually worried about her going into the movie. I didn't know how she was going to react. I didn't know how she was going to fit in and work well with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but they were a pair, and they were a pair to fight for. Like, it was awesome. You never saw them. You always saw their emotional connection, is what I'm trying to say.
From the moment you meet them, you already see their clashes with one another, with their ideals and ideologies with one another. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, working for the government as Edward Snowden, he knows a lot of things that she doesn't in the movie, and you can see that confrontation between the both of them throughout the entirety of the movie.
It's definitely sad when you can see two people that care so much about each other, but you see that one of them has to keep secrets of national security.
Well, I feel like that's what drove the story, when you weren't worried about what the NSA was doing and all the conspiracies that were going on. And I'll tell you what, he did a real good job portraying Snowden in this film.
Absolutely. And at the end of the movie, this is no spoiler, so at the end of the movie, when they show the actual Edward Snowden, was one of the best parts of the entire film, I have to say.
It really just puts into perspective just how well this movie was so accurate and how well of a job Joseph did in this film.
I completely agree. Another thing, you said something like a Jason Bourne film. It was literally the adrenaline rushing,
the pacing of this film.
Yes, like it was so much like Jason Bourne if you took out all the action, but the emotion and the adrenaline and the energy was still there.
I felt like I was trapped inside his head, and I got to see and experience everything that he was experiencing that was portrayed in this film.
The thing that I love most about Snowden is probably his passion for his country. He wanted the best to be done no matter what, for citizens, for the country, and for all the people in it.
And if you watch any kind of Oliver Stone movie like JFK, Wall Street, or anything, there's always a point of view that's always expressed throughout the film. It's biased to one side. And the bias to this movie is that Snowden is right. He is a patriot. He did the right thing for the country.
Some of the actors that really surprised me during the movie were Zachary Quinto, who played Glenn Greenwald.
Yes, I like
who is one of the reporters that Edward goes to at the end of the movie. Also, another one that I really enjoyed was Rhys Evans. Played phenomenal. He was Edward Snowden's boss, per se, in the NSA's training.
Not only him, his other instructor, played by Nicolas Cage, his name was Hank, and he did a real good job of stringing along Edward Snowden in the movie. You got to see the beginnings of Edward Snowden, why he thought certain things, and there's a lot of imagery in this film. Things that you saw early on, you're going to see it again, one way or another, and it's crazy how it all is put together.
Keith Stanfield, who played just a side role, nothing huge at all. He played Patrick Haynes in the film. He worked with Edward Snowden in one of his last jobs. Was such a such a heartfelt role. I felt like they were best friends when
He
they had
really
only worked
surprised
together.
me.
I completely
Came out of
agree.
nowhere. I wasn't expecting him to find any other roles in this film that were so great and really worked with him.
Scott Eastwood was in the film as well, playing Trevor James, and I did not even know that he was in this movie.
He did a great job for the role he was put in. I wasn't expecting him. It kind of surprised me when he came up on the film. Didn't really see him in the cast list.
Same.
So-
So I'm actually going to give this movie a solid 8. Not going to go too much higher because it was a phenomenal film, but I want to save those higher ratings from films coming up maybe later this year. So I'm going to give it a solid 8. What about
Well, unlike you, I'm almost giving this a 9, but I'll have to settle for an 8.5 simply because it was just a little bit too long for most people, and even for me. I felt like they could have maybe put a little bit more beef in some areas that were slow, and they just didn't feel really put together. But overall, this film, with the acting, the story, the plot, the way it was all put together, amazing. 8.5 for me.
I agree. Well, I can agree with you on the 8.5. So from both of us, I think we can agree that it's an 8.5 from the duo.
Yeah, that'll be great. 8.5 for Snowden for us. Alright guys, this is the Duo Show. See ya.